Desmond Okafor had always been a man with big dreams. At 35, he was ambitious, driven, and determined to make a name for himself in the business world. He had worked tirelessly to build his reputation as a skilled entrepreneur, and his recent proposal for a multi-million-dollar contract with Regal Holdings Limited was a golden opportunity he had been waiting for. But beyond business, Desmond had another dream, a future with Muna, his anchor, the woman who had stood by him through thick and thin. With their wedding preparations underway, Desmond felt like he had everything he had ever wanted. Then this email arrived the evening before his scheduled meeting with Regal Holdings Limited, a giant in the construction industry. Desmond had spent months bidding for their contract, and when the call finally came that he had been shortlisted, he was overjoyed. The original meeting was to take place at their Lagos office, but the email suggested a last-minute change of venue to a private lounge at a luxury hotel. It was odd, but he shrugged it off. Business moguls were known for their eccentricities, and a company as big as Regal Holdings could afford to shift plans at will. That evening when Muna got home, Desmond broke the news to her. "Hey, Muna, my love. Finally your love did it. I got the contract, and an appointment has been set. I will be meeting with the company's manager." Muna was excited. At last they were going to have the life they have always dreamed of, more comfort and luxury. Dressed in an impeccable navy blue suit, Desmond arrived at the lounge and took a seat in the VIP section, waiting for the branch manager. His eyes scanned the room, observing the rich and powerful figures that frequented the establishment. Then she appeared, an elegantly dressed woman in a figure-hugging emerald gown. She was beautiful for her age, Madame Beatrice, 65 years old, wealthy, influential, and one of the co-owners of Regal Holdings Ltd. Desmond had heard about her before. Her reputation preceded her. She was known for her sharp business acumen, her ruthlessness in deals, and her preference for young, attractive men in her social circles. She walked toward him with an air of confidence, holding a manila folder in her manicured hands. Desmond rose to his feet out of courtesy. "You must be Desmond Okafor," she said smoothly, extending her hand. "Yes, Madame Beatrice," he replied, shaking her hand firmly. She smiled, handing him the folder. "Inside is the contract you've been waiting for. It's yours." Desmond's heart pounded with excitement. "Thank you, ma'am." She raised a perfectly sculpted brow and interrupted. "On one condition." Desmond frowned slightly. "Condition? A dinner. Just you and me. Tonight." Desmond hesitated. She leaned in, her perfume intoxicating. "Oh, don't look so worried, young man. It's just dinner. No strings attached. But if you say no, I'll have to reconsider my offer." Desmond's mind raced. He thought about Muna, about their wedding, about his integrity. But then he thought about the contract, the financial security, the business empire he could build. One dinner. That's all. He nodded. "All right, just dinner." Beatrice's smile widened. Good choice. Desmond had just sold his soul to the devil. Then came the dinner date with Madame Beatrice. That night, it was clear to Desmond that he was caught in her web. She reassured him of more contracts and power. She offered to make him a co-senior to the company's shares. But she wanted him. More of him. If Desmond says yes, then she would give him the documents to sign. And he says no, he was going to take back all the offer. Desmond thought of all the power and opportunities, the luxury he had promised Muna, his fiancée, and all he stands to gain. Left with no choice, he agreed to Madame Beatrice's quests, her lips curving into a knowing smile. She placed the documents on the table and asked Desmond to sign the contract. He did sign, but was he signing his life and freedom away? "Oh, Desmond, you just made the best choice. From these moment, you will have the whole world at your feet. Cheers to more business together, my love," Beatrice said sarcastically. That night they drank and laughed. There was something about her, Desmond thought to himself. She might be an older woman, but I think like her sassy nature. And moreover, she's so classy and beautiful. I wonder how she looked in her youth. Desmond was already tripping for Beatrice. What started as one date became two, then three. Soon, Desmond was caught in Beatrice's web. She was intoxicating, not just because of her wealth, but because she made him feel invincible. He started to live a double life. Desmond got the contract, but sold his soul to the devil. He was always coming home late. Before Muna could ask what the message says, Desmond jumped into the shower, refreshed, and dashed out of the house, as if there was an emergency. Beatrice had bought him over with that. They started dating, and he started living a double life because he didn't want his fiancée, Muna, to find out. There he is in Beatrice's bedroom again. He's her crush, and he can't resist her charm and how she flirts on him. She's crazy, he says to himself. Then he grabbed her in a very romantic way. Beatrice enjoys that. She always wants more. Desmond was sinking even deeper, without realizing it. Beatrice, we need to stop this, Desmond said, after a long night with Beatrice. I am getting married to Muna. I should be planning my wedding, and not this. Not what? Beatrice asked. We are having a time of our life. You can't deny you feel something for me, would you? So don't spoil the sweet moment we've just had. She sips her wine, while Desmond drowned in guilt because he knows he was betraying Muna's love. He got home at midnight, and Muna was right there still awake and waiting. She was furious. Where are you coming from, Desmond? Are you cheating on me? I don't know what you're talking about, Desmond responds, and he walks away from her. As he took a few steps, he said, I will be going on a business trip tomorrow morning, so I need to sleep now. Beatrice took every chance to keep Desmond away from Muna. She wanted to tear them apart by all means. So she showered him with everything he could ever desire: power, wealth, influence. And now on tour in her private jet, Desmond became her man. She made him happy, and in turn, he gave her what she always desired: sex, romance, and his attention. It's been 3 nights in Dubai with Beatrice. Yes, he has had great time with her. Yet his heart belonged to Muna. He sneaks into the bathroom to give her a call, to check on the love of his life. Desmond was drowning. He wished he could scream for help. Then suddenly the call dropped. Muna didn't answer. His heart beat so hard. Desmond found himself slipping further away from Muna. Wedding arrangements stalled. Calls went unanswered, and lies became second nature. He lived 2 lives, one with Muna, where he pretended all was well, and another with Beatrice, where he drowned in pleasure and power. It wasn't long before Muna's suspicions grew. One evening, her friend invited her to an exclusive party at a 5-star hotel. She wasn't one for high society gatherings, but something in her gut urged her to go. Desmond and Beatrice, a special guest, has also arrived in a grand style outside the event. And while they were still busy shaking hands with some of the important guests, since Beatrice was an influential and societal woman, there she stood before their very eyes. Muna. Desmond goshed in surprise. She had caught them, red-handed. Desmond turned red. He wished he could just disappear. She was the last person he imagined would be in that room. Muna, on the other hand, was so shocked. So this is it? She whispered to herself. Muna stood frozen, her heart pounding in her chest. The chandeliers above cast a golden glow over the elegantly dressed guests, but she could see only one thing: Desmond. As the 65-year-old tycoon was draped in an expensive silk gown, leaning dangerously close to Desmond, whispering into his ear. Her manicured fingers lightly grazed his hand, and he chuckled at something she said. Muna quietly approached them. Desmond, so this is a woman you've been cheating with? Now everything is so clear. Now everything makes so sense. You chose her over me? You choose her over everything we shared? You chose power and influence over us? Muna broken and shattered, while Beatrice smirked in victory. Muna felt the air leave her lungs. So this wasn't just business. This wasn't just a misunderstanding. This was betrayal. She clenched her fists, her body trembling as rage and heartbreak collided within her. She had ignored the red flags, the late meetings, the sudden business trips, the distance between them. She had trusted him, above all, loved him. And now, in front of the city's elites, in the most humiliating way possible, she knew the truth. Oh, I had been a fool. She cried out as she shamefully walked away from them and left the event.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed the view. Thank you for watching.